She's a fourth-generation resident of the congressional district she is seeking to represent. In 2022, she ran for the seat unsuccessfully, but she's back for a rematch. And I'm joined now by District 4 congressional candidate LaShonda L.J. Holloway. Welcome, L.J.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you for having me. I'm pleased to be here this
I'm
morning.
very happy to have you. So this is not your first race.
It is not my first race. I have run in three different configurations for United States Congress, and the number has changed and the map has changed three times.
Yeah, but you've been running for a decade.
Well, I mean, and that's a congressional district I'm sorry, a congressional, I've run three times before. And when I ran in 2016 against Corrine Brown and Al Lawson, the district actually was a district that went through Orlando, and in the middle
District
of the,
5.
it was District 5. And in the middle, no, at that time, yeah, it was District 5. And it changed in the middle of the campaign, and then it started going east-west. And then the second time that I ran, of course, we were going through a lawsuit regarding that district because it was not close and compact. The law requires for a congressional district, of course, which is 710,000 people, for it to be close and contiguous. And of course, that district was more than 180 miles
And
from
it's
Jacksonville, west of Tallahassee.
Yeah,
But
and it's now the subject of another lawsuit. I mean, it continues this
well,
redistricting issue, right?
exactly. It's a gerrymandered district now. And you should probably know, and your listeners should probably know, that that district was formerly a minority access district. Of course, now it is a Republican gerrymandered district by the governor and drawn by my opponent's sister-in-law, Senator Jennifer Bradley, who is a senator from Clay County. So, of course, the district,
Who served on the redistricting committee.
that is correct.
Yeah. So your opponent is Aaron Bean. We have reached out to him. He's the Republican incumbent, and he is, of course, welcome on the program. We've not heard back from him on those offers, but he's on round two of another another 2-year term that he's seeking. Last time he captured about 60% of the vote at huge margins in Nassau and Clay County. So first of all, why are you challenging him? What chance do you think you have of success?
So I believe that there is a path to victory, and I am challenging him because, one, I believe that the people deserve better. Moreover, look, we have to be very clear about this district. Is this district is one poised and positioned to flip. Jacksonville has more than 263,000 Democrats, and in the midterm election, look, we had less than a 25% turnout. Given the top of the ticket, I do believe that people in Jacksonville will turn out the vote. And also, when I am in Nassau and Clay County, I am received very well by Republicans and non-party affiliated voters. And when I'm in Nassau, people are saying we are tired of the beans. His father was a mayor, he was a mayor, and his son is a mayor, and they call his son Baby Bean. And look, the people in Nassau County are really tired of the beans. So I do believe there's a path to victory.
So when you talk about the top of the ticket, obviously there's a presidential election. There's some other amendments that are going to be driving turnout. And you've taken a pretty strong stand, for instance, on Amendment 4.
Absolutely. First of all, as someone who doesn't have a Y chromosome and as a woman, look, I do believe that people deserve to have access to health care, in particular women. Women should have body autonomy. Moreover, look, I mean, there are families, who rely on in vitro fertilization to start families. People should have the right to make decisions about their bodies.
And so that's Amendment 4. It would make abortion legal to viability under the advice of a doctor. What other issues are priorities for you?
So the other issues that are priorities for me, and I think what's important to listeners and voters in particular, what I hear on the campaign trail with young people, they are concerned about affordable housing. That is real. And we just had Hurricane Helene. I mean, look, we know that we need climate action. And as someone who worked for the Environmental Protection Agency, I can tell you that with Project 2025 on page 417, they want to eliminate the Environmental Protection Agency. And look, Americans deserve climate action. We deserve clean air, but most importantly, we deserve drinking water.
Yeah. So climate is an issue that hasn't really moved much in Congress. is there anything specific that you think that you could bring to that discussion in DC if you were elected?
Yes, absolutely. First and foremost, we need to make sure that we have minimum legal protections for environmental regulations. That's number one. We need to make sure. And I mean, look, as a result of climate change, there is more intense hurricanes. We know that there are higher wind speeds, and more precipitation. We just saw that right here in Jacksonville, Florida. And there are some people who are probably in your listening audience who still do not have power. While I can say that, we have done a very good job thanks to the people at JEA and the first responders, but there is still a percentage of people in this area who still don't have light. So we know that the impacts of this trend are likely to be exacerbated by sea level rise and a growing population along coastlines. So we have to make sure that we have minimum protections to ensure that there are environmental
But, like,
protections.
what is a minimum protection in your mind?
In my mind, minimum protections would be to one, keep the Environmental Protection Agency. That's number one. But two, having minimum protections to say that look, we need to have anti climate regulations to make sure that look, people are not taking developing overdeveloping because the water has to drain off somewhere, right? And when you have all this concrete and water is not absolving into the earth, look, we are borrowing from our future and look, really doing a disservice to our planet.
So in Congress, another debate that is being had has to do with foreign spending, whether to continue spending in Ukraine, whether to continue supporting Israel financially and through munitions. Um, where do you stand on those issues in particular?
So let me just say that as a candidate, I worked on Capitol Hill and I understand that we have Congressional Research Service and that we have, military professionals. I will say to you that, and I have to full disclosure, I am a descendant of Ethiopian Jews, but I do believe in a two-state party solution, and we have greater domestic issues than foreign issues, and we are a part of NATO, and to keep the country secure, look, we have to have those partnerships to keep our nation secure.
So you believe in continuing to fund Israel through war supplies?
Well, no, I abhor war. That's what I'm saying. Without more data, I'm just a candidate. I don't have Congressional Research Service, so without more data, it's hard for me to speak on that because look, I don't have more data. If I had more data, then I could make an intelligent response. But I will say that we have to support our allies because it's important for us to protect our borders. And look, I don't agree with bullying. Of course, everyone has a right to defend themselves,
Mhm.
right? And look, to the contrary, though, I also believe that people should have dignity. So without more, it's hard. That's why I believe in a two-state solution, but it's hard to speak on that without more data.
What about immigration? I mean, that's an issue, obviously, that has roiled a lot of conversations in DC. Um, what is your position on how that is being handled? What would you like to see?
So, with immigration, I believe that we all are immigrants. If truth be told, I mean, the Native Americans or the indigenous people are the people who are native to this country. So, we all are immigrants. I think African Americans who came by slavery are probably the only ones who came unwillingly. And I do believe that, one, we are stronger together. And with immigration, I think that we need reform in that for DACA, I mean, for dreamers. I mean, the period for dreamers to have access or to get benefits. I mean, it's more than 150 days. So we definitely need reform. The other thing is we know that, there's a segment of society, that talks about the border. I will tell you that I negotiated the largest deal in history at U.S. Customs and have gone to different border protection agencies and know many special agents in charge. And so the numbers have been exaggerated. That's number one. But two, we also need to acknowledge the fact that this 118th do nothing Congress had a bipartisan border bill, and I will say to you that my opponent, the incumbent, look, voted no. Now, he speaks incessantly about the border, but he voted no on the bipartisan border bill.
We're talking to congressional candidate LJ Holloway. You can join our conversation at 904-549-2937, or you can email firstcoastconnect at wjct.org. We have a call from Mike on the South Side. Good morning, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I must say I've been very impressed with Ms. Holloway. I know she's going all over the district talking to people, and I really appreciate that. I have been disappointed in Aaron Bean, who, unlike many other Republicans, is putting party in his position over country by endorsing Donald Trump, who tried to overturn a free and fair election. You all are talking about very important issues. What I want to know is, when is the debate going to happen so that these two can get together face to face and really hash these issues out for the public?
Thanks, Mike. I don't think there is a debate scheduled.
Yeah, there is a debate schedule, and that's why I kind of laugh because, I thank you, Mike. I sent a certified letter because, I was a Democratic nominee in 2022, and Mr. Bean did not debate me then. And so this time we sent a certified letter on August 24th with a venue and a location in Nassau County. So it was his home county on October 9th, and that is also when members of Congress are in district for the whole month because it's an election year. So he should be in district. And we set it for October 9th. We sent the certified letter on the 24th. His office received it on the 27th, and we are yet to receive a response. So, Mr. Bean, if you or your team are listening, we are still open and available to debate on October 9th.
You planning on being there regardless, October 9th, waiting?
October 9th, waiting on Mr. Bean.
Just briefly, I mean, he is, I would say, far, far ahead in the money race, right? He's got like 1.3 million. You've got a few thousand.
Yes, very little. So we know that he, of course, has a Koch brother Citizens United PAC. We know that. But we can tell from the last election, I received 108,000 votes with no money. So I received 108,000 votes. He brought Donald Trump. He was endorsed by Donald Trump. He bought Newt Gingrich and the then person who was in line to become the Speaker of the House. What was his name? McCarthy. Yeah. So he bought all three of them to defeat little old me with no money. So this is a David and Goliath story. I worked very hard across this district campaigning and touching the hands and the hearts of the people because I genuinely love the people. And if I could receive 108,000 votes with no money during a midterm election with poor turnout and 75,000 Democrats who did not vote during the general, during a presidential year, certainly I can defeat Aaron Bean.
Well, the election is November 5th. Early voting gets underway in Duval County on the 21st of October. LJ Holloway, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you, Ann, for having me.